Welcome back to the Financial Logistician. I'm your host, All Nighter Hider, and this is the second installment or second episode of the Simon Says series, where I go and I talk about what my great buddy Simon, the uneducated economist, has talked about. I don't say what he has said. This is my interpretation. All right, this is not a game of telephone, but it is my interpretation of what I think Simon has said. So, don't hold me accountable to what he has said. I will have, if I remember, I will have a link in the description to the video in which he titled More War, More Debt, and More Separation Between the Rich and the Poor. He starts by somewhat saying we conform to the economy. So a lot of people are talking about nowadays it's so difficult to get ahead. They don't have anything to invest. What are they going to do? There's just so much uncertainty. Well, one of the things Mark Moss used to say to me was we invest in the economy the way that it is, not the way we want it to be. So we invest pragmatically, essentially. But to invest, we need to have something to invest. So we need to produce more than we consume. That was one of the points he had gotten to. One of the ways to invest, or rather two of the best ways to invest that Richard Cantillon of the Cantillon Essay of Economic Theory says, he is a French economist from over 300 years ago that wrote his essay, an essay on economic theory. He talks about the best ways to invest are through property ownership and business ownership. There's a third, which is not exactly investing. It's being the prince is what he calls it. I think that's collecting an inheritance. I don't think that's the way to invest. I think that's speculation. At best. But yeah, property ownership and business ownership are the two best ways, historically proven ways, to get ahead and to beat inflation. He also goes on to read some of the comments, and in the comments, the BRICS nations are brought up. BRICS being, I don't even know what it is anymore. It's ever changing. It was Brazil, Russia, India. What's the C? China. And then South Africa was the S. BRICSA. Yeah. There's a bunch of other ones coming and going. I don't keep up on it, really. I don't really care. I don't really care to. It's not important to me. But someone was asking, what about the BRICS nations? How's that going to affect the dollar going forward? Well, it shouldn't. Not too much. If anything, it should help out by relieving some of the debt stress on the dollar. But Simon goes on to talk about Gresham's Law. Gresham's Law, if you're not familiar with it, I don't remember the guy's first name. Simon does. I don't. Gresham is his last name. He spoke about good money chasing out bad. Now, when I first heard that, I didn't know what that meant. Good money chasing out bad. There's not enough context there. So what does that mean? Good money chasing out bad. Well, it's chasing bad money out of circulation. Good money chases bad money out of circulation. Rather, scratch that. Bad money chases good money out of circulation. I'm trying to screw you guys all up. What does that mean? Bad money chases good money out of circulation. Out of circulation would be into somebody's pocket, somebody's savings, something that doesn't move. Into circulation would be something that gets traded, something that somebody doesn't really want, something that's suited less for savings and more for trade. That would be the dollar. So if you have two currencies, X and Y, we'll say, and you're going to trade with me, and I'll take both X or Y. I'll take either one of them. Let's say you prefer X because it rhymes with sex, let's say. So you're going to pay with Y. Why? Because you don't want the Y. You want the sex, or what rhymes with sex. So that's Gresham's Law in a very niche little, what's the word I'm looking for? Example. Just a quick little example. If you have two currencies, you're going to spend the one that you don't necessarily want to save. That would be the dollar, because the dollar is meant for trade. It's a melting ice cube. We go on to talk about... Oh, okay, yeah. So also, the U.S. has the deepest debt market. Why does it have the deepest debt market? What does that mean? It means that the U.S. can take on the most debt. The world is more willing to buy U.S. debt than it is any other debt. So the size of the debt market is a reflection of the confidence that the world has in that nation's ability to pay its debt. That's why the U.S. has the deepest, most liquid debt market. Why? Again, because we have the most stable debt issuance. Stable and predictable debt issuance. So the rest of the world knows that the dollar is going to be debased. They know that if they go and buy a dollar for 100 cents, that in, I don't know, maybe 2 years' time, they can only purchase 80 cents worth of goods with what accumulated to that 100 cents. If that makes any sense at all. Pun intended. So everybody knows that the dollar is going to be debased, but everybody also knows that other currencies are less predictable and probably going to be debased even more. So what is the most stable and predictable asset, or currency rather? That would be the dollar. Historically, that's the dollar. That's why we have the world reserve currency. It was chosen by the market participants, not deemed by government. That, hey, you're gonna use the dollar. No, that's not how it works. My notes say rambling on with the chat. Yeah, so he went on to read the chat, which he always does. I love that about Simon. He reads the chat. He lets the viewers steer the direction of the video, which is pretty cool, because then he's on the spot all the time. He's constantly reading a new comment, a new question, if you would, something new to comment on. So he's got to know his stuff. He went on to talk about day jobs only pay for necessities. Now, again, this is not what he said. This is what I am saying. This is my interpretation of what Simon said. And I do tend to agree with him. Day jobs tend to only pay the necessities. He spoke about, it doesn't matter if you make $150K a year. I have worked with a family rather, that it was a husband and wife and a brand new daughter and a dog. And between the husband and wife, they made $600K a year. Good for you. Good for you guys. You're not going to watch this, but good for you guys. I thought that was awesome. In fact, so the way that I heard this was, I'm doing a job in his house. I'm in his kitchen, and somebody comes over doing a solar. They're doing a solar walkthrough, right? And they have to ask them, for whatever reason, what his income is. And so he says $300K. The guy that was doing the solar walkthrough clarifies and says, "Oh man, that's awesome. Is that you and your wife both?" My client clarifies, "No, that's just me." Solar guy goes on to ask, "What does your wife pull in?" He says another $300K. I thought that was awesome. That was one of the last jobs that I did work for him, because they moved from San Diego to Wisconsin. But regardless, knowing that, I personally, this is a total side note tangent, total rabbit trail. I personally would not raise my prices just because I know somebody makes more. That's up to do. That's not right. That is, my prices should never be based on who I'm working for. If anything, the material that I'm working with, okay, if I'm working on a space shuttle, and if I drop a nail and that nail costs $50,000, I'm going to charge a little bit more for my time. But if I'm just working normal materials for normal people, well, whoever. If I'm just working normal materials in a normal job, my pay scale is based on my ability to get the job done. And the availability of the job, the job site. If the job site's full of, if it's if I'm working on a bed of nails, then yeah, I'm going to charge more. If I'm working on who's that guy with the My Pillow company? If I'm working on pillows, if I get to walk on pillows all throughout the job, I'm going to probably charge a little bit less. Moving on. That was terrible. Come on, Hyder, you know better. He then goes on to talk about his memberships. His memberships are pretty awesome. He does membership videos, members-only videos. He does tend to make them public after a while. But as members, we get to get those perks of getting to see those membership videos first. Plus, we get membership-only live streams that we get to participate with first. Those are only $1 a month. He was talking about if he gets to 10,000 subscribers, he's at 700 now, roundabouts. If he gets to 10,000 subscribers, that would be, I don't know what YouTube would steal from that. Maybe 30%. I'm just guessing. So that would mean he's pulling in about $7,000 a month from just viewership members. He talked about he would turn off the ad revenue if that were the case and be just a members-only channel. That would be pretty cool. My joke is always, if he gets to 10,000 members, maybe the mods will get paid, and I'll be the first paid moderator. How cool would that be? It could be $1 a month. Pay for my membership. That would be pretty damn cool, though. First paid moderator. I don't know if I would be. I'm assuming I would be, but that would be pretty badass. I would call myself the first paid moderator. Because who's going to challenge me? Man, I'm at the bottom of my notes. Oh, we're at 12 minutes, too, so looking good. What does my chicken scratch say here? Oh, earn more. I thought it said earn Mike. Sheesh. Earn more or reduce... yeah, I wrote that one wrong. Or reduce less. Require. Oh my goodness, my chicken scratch. Wow. Chicken scratch is better than this, actually. Okay, so earn more or require less. That's kind of a way of getting ahead. So rather we be more valuable and we take in more income, or we reduce what we require as far as our bills. I have taken the position of reducing my bills. Didn't have a whole lot to begin with, but I cut back even more. Building this tiny house, about $7,500, and I haven't paid rent in 2 years. That's pretty awesome. I do pay rent, but with my sweat equity. I work in my parents' house up front, so I do pay something. I am valuable. I'm not a leech. Next thing I need to do is to be more valuable and take in more income. In providing value, value gets provided in return. So I need to be more valuable so that I can take in more value, being income. He does say how requiring less makes earning more easier, and I would definitely agree with that. If my bills are only, let's say my bills are $1,000 or $5,000 a month, and I reduce them down to $1,000 a month, I just increase my income by $4,000. That's pretty awesome. If my bills, yeah, well, that pretty much takes care of that one. I don't know how else to reiterate that one. Yeah, if I reduce my bills, a penny saved is a penny earned. The old adage holds true. All right, nobody's watching anymore at 14 1/4 minutes, so I'm going to call it that. I need to remember to link the video. I'm going to do that right now. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll make more of these. Invest accordingly.